Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mortis FM, a Star Wars podcast. We're not really late. We're like 2 minutes late. It's fine. Let's see who's in the chat.
When 2 minutes, when you take 2 minutes and subtract that by 2, technically we are on time.
That's some quick math there, Cole.
I know.
I am Grayson, one of your hosts.
Hey, man. Hi, Grayson. I'm so excited to be a guest here on the show today. Filling in, I am Cole, the hypothetical other host for Mortis FM.
Not to be confused with the other
actual
Cole.
Yeah.
And speaking of other Coles, we have Cole Cohen in the chat who says, "What's up, boys?
Hey, man. How you doing?
What's up, fella? How you doing, my friend?" We hope everybody who's in the States is having a great and relaxing Memorial Day. Today is super crappy weather for me, so I've been reading, and quite frankly, I've had a very busy weekend, so I was like, you know what, let's do a spontaneous live stream instead of, I frankly didn't even have the time to record. So here we are doing another live stream, which seemed to get a lot of good traction from last time.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully more people will start to flood in over time if you are there. This is going to be a very interactive episode. We've done this once before. Why don't you fill them in? What we're doing?
This is a hypothetical, or this is just another one of our questions episodes. So last time we did, we sat down and we asked each other 4 serious questions and then 1 gag question. Here we are again. And
here we are.
Great. Yeah, Grayson wanted to do 3, but I was like, we have to stick with it. We got to do 4 serious and 1 gag.
Yeah.
I was indecisive, so I actually did 2 gag questions. So
okay, I did 5 serious and 1 gag. I was really struggling to find a gag, but I may not do 1. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
So you did 5 serious and 1 gag, and I did 4 serious and 2 gags.
Yeah.
So we both didn't follow instructions, but at least we did.
Yes.
At least we did do both 6. So.
Yeah, if we've got time, I'm down to do all of them, honestly. And of course, we'll do our chat pack as normal.
Yeah, and then I will say that the interactivity part of this episode is that we encourage the audience to answer these as well. Even if you are watching this after the stream, please feel free to answer the questions and let us know after you watch the episode what your answers are.
DM, comment on the thumbnail post for this episode, or if we end up releasing any clips. I've been really bad about doing clips lately. So yeah, whatever is available to you. But either way, I hope you enjoy our very spontaneous and off the cuff, but also pre-planned questions that we don't know. Let me catch up with the chat a little bit more. Oh my Lord, this freaking guy.
Jacob Apple says, I don't know these guys, but they're kind of cute, not gonna lie. And you know what? I'm inclined to agree, Jacob. Yeah.
If people don't know, Jacob is one of our very, very good, best mutual friends. He's very supportive of us. We love you, buddy. We miss you. Peter. Is it Peter? Is it Weidman? Is it? I know you're German. You're from Germany. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that with my English dialect, but hello.
Wiedman. I don't
know. Maybe.
That's my off the cuff guess. What's up, Peter? I'm happy to have you here, man. It's good to see your profile picture every time with all of the different Bobas and Django's there.
It's so great. You got like the classic ones and then the new ones. But also, Peter sent me. He DMs me every once in a while, and he really wants us to do like a 48-hour live. Not a 48-hour. I was like 48-hour would be insane. But he was like showing like a podcast stage that people made where it literally was like a cantina booth.
Oh yeah, that could be really cool.
And I was like, dude, one day, I was like, if we lived closer and we had those resources, I was like, I would love to do that. And he was like 48-hour live stream, and I was like, maybe like 12.
Well, it could be maybe like a Star Wars movie watch along, you know?
Oh, dude, that would be fun.
We like watch with the audience and kind of just do live commentary of it.
That'd be great.
I'm just saying. And then
Interesting thought.
I'll cosplay as Watto for the event.
I'll cosplay as Shrek.
Yeah. Shrek?
He said, "Yes, Cole, you are right. So it's vegan."
Oh! Let's go.
Let's go.
Jess, if you're listening right now, I did it. I pronounced a potentially German name correctly without having to look it up.
I always forget that that's usually W is more of like would be like an English V sound or V.
Yeah.
We got JT, Starkiller himself. Yo!
I'm
What's up,
just now
JT?
noticing that his profile picture is inspired from the Star Killer.
We'll see you guys later. This is Cole's last episode.
Yeah. I'm having a stroke. My death is imminent. But yeah, I'm just now noticing that that's inspired by Star Killer's.
Oh yeah, he is. He's gonna do a Lord Starkiller cosplay for Celebration, and he's cooking with that. It looks really cool.
Did you tell him about the one that we saw at Star Wars Celebration 2017? There was like smoke coming out of the mask. That thing was so cool.
I think he was there. He told me he saw it. It was like second or third place for the cosplay competition, because I remember 000 won. And I think the Lord Starkiller was like 2 or 3. And I think we didn't get to make it to the actual cosplay competition, but I remember us literally being like,
"Oh yeah, we gotta go." The next time we end up going to Celebration, we got to go to the cosplay contest.
Oh, dude, yeah, I love because especially Celebration is so all out Star Wars, like in terms of just the cosplays. Like they're not doing like quick cosplays. They're doing like top of the line. Like
this is like
everything.
This is their passion. Clearly, it looks really good. I gotta get me one of those.
Okay, I want to answer this because this is interesting. Hey guys, what do you think about the concepts of free will and destiny in Star Wars, considering the existence of the wills and the idea that Lucas said they shape reality? Wow, this is a thought-provoking question, and we haven't even started, dude.
Yeah, there's a good it's turning it on its head here with the audience asking us questions instead of vice versa. And actually, that's a good idea of us potentially doing that alongside this. Really good question. I've thought about this before. I'm sure you have as well. I think we've talked about it once or twice. Man. I mean, it kind of comes down to like when you think about that, the general idea of just religious context in the physical world kind of come into question. And I kind of like to equate it to essentially being both. Like, it was always something that was going to happen, but you made that decision still, It's weird. I think that every character makes these decisions actively, but it's just it's really hard to explain.
I view it, not to get into my own beliefs too much here, but I view it kind of similarly to real life, where the line Yoda says, and I take this as truth, is always in motion the future is. All right, no events are entirely set in stone. Yes, there are things that influence people and some decisions that may happen no matter what you do or in some path. But I do think people and creatures and characters in the Star Wars universe, they have free will, but they also do have destinies. It's just a matter of how they get to those destinies, I think it I agree with that. I think it's kind of like the Force, or that's not how the Force works. Like we really don't know, but it kind of feels like they push characters and events along in like subtle ways that make certain things happen. Lately we've been talking a lot about Force and Destiny and Edge of the Empire and everything, and how the dice work in that. And I think if people aren't, like, we've talked about that a lot, and we've been I'm studying up for one that I'm doing for some of my own friends, and you've been researching as well, and we've been trying to like help each other and ask questions about it. But a lot of the dice in that game is really to tailor the destiny of these certain events. And obviously the players have, they have the agency to make these choices, but also sometimes like the force comes into play, or the dice kind of come in and kind of deter paths one way or the other. And so
yeah,
I don't know. This is a question I think you could literally do an entire episode on. If like I'd have to do some deep research.
I think that there is a lot to really consider about this. But when, as the questionee, the interviewer here says, considering the existence of the wills,
the manslayer, I believe is how you say it. Yeah.
Considering the existence of the wills and the idea that Lucas said they shape reality. Well, a good way to also think about it is that not only do the wills shape reality, but also each character's will themselves shape reality. So I think it's like certain events were set in stone, but these characters make their own decisions.
Yeah.
It's just really strange to talk about, because like people actively make their own decisions. It's like, I am deciding this thing, but then was something preordained to just say that you would eventually make this decision? It's like, yes and no. I don't know. There's a lot of questions there.
Yeah, and then you think into the balance of, at least in Star Wars, like the constant tug of war between the light side and the dark side. Yes, there is the Force, but the light and the dark are constantly, pulling one way or the other, and people are a part of that, and the actions they make are a part of it. So I do think, obviously, certain characters in Star Wars have destinies. I believe it was always Anakin's destiny to bring balance to the Force. I just think maybe was it always written in stone that he would become Darth Vader? Who's to say? Some would say yes, because of what he sees in Mortis and what the son, or the brother, the son shows. But maybe not. I don't know. I'd have to think of a little bit on it more. But that's kind of that's our take, I think.
Yeah. I think that is just straight up episode material. That is a big question for another day, potentially.
Yeah. I'm gonna note that down. He left us some other chats. My first, let me catch up here real quick. I'm not Starkiller yet. We got to do that Force Unleashed stream. Yeah, we got to talk to Tales from Tashi Station. Get some of us talking about Starkiller. I know that's in the works. So yeah, live stream movie night. That would be awesome. Maybe we've done reactions in the past. I actually still have the recording of Cole and I reacting to the season finale of Mando season 2, and it never got released.
Really?
So I could theoretically, if that's something people are interested in as like a bonus episode one day or something, I could probably dig that up and maybe make that work. Obviously, it wouldn't be with the audio of the episode. It's just audio. It's not our faces. But you can play it along while watching the episode, get our initial reactions.
The Mando season 2 finale, you said?
Luke Skywalker, yeah.
Our reactions to that. I didn't know. I do not remember you having that on recording. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was back in our Comic Blast days.
Yeah, we were doing Comic Blast then.
Yeah, that was for our Patreon, and I don't think it ever got released. And so I have that, both of our individual audio recordings, and I've gone back to listen.
Wow.
Yeah, December 2020. So,
oh my God, that's crazy. I don't even really know what I said in there.
I have to go back and listen through it and see. Metroplex Asylum, what's up? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Big supporter. They said recently, they were like, I could listen to these guys yap all day, and we appreciate it.
certified Star Wars yappers. That should be
true.
Probably like our brand subtext.
I left you a big comment. Okay, and maybe did I see that one? I'll go double check that. But honestly, and your question was so good, I do think we might make that a full episode.
Yeah, I think we should. That's really good potential there.
To follow up, Lucas said wills are animals, so there is a will, but not a moral one, but rather instinctive one. Living beings were created to create the living force from which the wills fed off. Gotcha. Man, you know more about the wills than I'll be honest. I got to do more research on the wills, because that is
Yeah,
I've not heard of
I
that.
think in that regard we're gonna need to step back and just kind of go over it generally
Yeah,
because there's a lot of potential there.
yeah, it's yeah. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Also, just that the destiny would be except for in that symbiotic relationship. Okay. Oh, true, like the living force and whatnot. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
TBD. Mortis FM Discord soon. Maybe. I'm
Not a
really
bad
bad
idea.
about. I'm really bad about managing Discords, to be honest. Like, so
We might have to get some moderators.
moderators. Yeah.
At a later date. Yeah.
Yeah.
But good idea. Good idea. We'll think about it.
Battlesai, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna note all these things down and we'll keep this in our archive for a future episode because you're saying a lot of good stuff that we'd be here all day talking about, and I want us to get to our normal questions. So, Poptography, hello fellas, and chat,
man.
what's up? He's super nice guy. Love his stuff. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. Okay, Cole, you hit me with your first question.
Really? You want me to? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right. So my first question is, what clone trooper company or special division would you want to be assigned to?
Oh man, hit me with a tough one right off the bat.
And so in this regard, like, you don't have to, like, if you don't want to be like, a regular trooper, you could also just be like a special class,
I mean, come on. I obviously I want to be a commando. It's just a matter of like we don't know that many commando divisions.
I know, what a shame.
Yeah, like we only know Delta Squad, and they're barely in Clone Wars, and Scorch is dead.
He's still alive. There's no confirmation. You see like a strange duplicated asset of him.
Yeah,
near the end of the episode,
like 7 Scorches.
He's still alive. He survived the fall. There has to be a reason for them putting him in the show.
It's so random, yeah. Okay, well, off the cuff, is it Wolfpack is it 137th? Am I tripping?
I want to say it's like 144. It's definitely got a 4 in there.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It is 104th.
104th. Okay. I was like 23 numbers off. Yes. So that's the first thing that I'd want to be if I wanted to be a special trooper in a division, like an ARC trooper in the Wolfpack would go hard because like we know for a fact that like Fives and Echo are ARC troopers in the 501st. So so we never really see any Wolfpack ARC troopers, which that would have been really cool for like a skin pack for Battlefront 2 if they had done ARC trooper skins for each of the divisions,
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a lot of work, but that would be just so cool. I would love that, man.
Yeah, shame it got the plugged on. The plug was pulled too soon on that game. But if I weren't gonna do that, I would love to be. I joked about it when we would play Battlefront 2, but I loved my redneck camo commando, where it was the commando with like the full camouflage. I was like, is camouflage sometimes kind of corny? Maybe, but also
it's effective.
It's pretty cool. Like I always liked that. So like a camo night ops commando. I don't know. Kind of goes hard. What about you?
It's so tough. I can't believe like I didn't come up with an answer before. Because like I obviously like you know me. If I were to choose, I would be a commando.
Yeah, we're such commando fiends, bro.
Yeah, I mean maybe we should be in our own squad. I'm just saying, our own commando squad.
What would our squad be called?
Mortis Squad. We'll think about that. That's actually a potential. You might be. What I'm thinking.
I get what you're saying.
As for like battalions, I really love the Coruscant Guard. You know that.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think they have they don't have enough proper leadership, man.
Mm.
Because Thorn, like Thorn's out of the game, and he was one of the good ones.
He was a goat.
Listen, Fox does his job well, but I don't think he's in it for the brothers. You know, it would be interesting if I was an ARC in the Coruscant Guard, because you don't see any ARC troopers in the Coruscant Guard. So imagine like that, just kind of really bring things around. But also, I've also really had a soft spot for the 212th, because I love
Obi-Wan's.
Yeah, I love Cody, love Obi-Wan. And you don't see any arcs in there either. I think that they could have used some more characterization besides like Waxer and Boyle. It was like a brief moment in there. And then like also the 91st Recon Corps, just because, you know, the like Neo's helmet just looks really sick.
That's my favorite clone helmet design right there.
It looks really great.
Canonically, that's, you know, I know Fordo isn't canon, but there's nothing saying he's not canon. There's so many clones. That's what his helmet was. I think they based Fordo's helmet on the Bark Trooper helmets.
Yeah.
Which are very cool.
Yes. Well, it's also, I mean, like Rex as well is kind of.
Yeah.
Is he like. Well, and also Wolf's. Yeah,
Wolf's is just the Bark Trooper helmet with the at least his main helmet. But then Wolf also has that really drippy outfit where it's like the Sand Trooper outfit, which is like my favorite look ever, and you only see it once.
Wolf is just so cool, man. I could honestly pick any one of these, because I would also like to be in the Wolf pack, you know, like just
what are the green ones that are on Kashyyyk? They're Yodas and Luminaras.
Is that the 41st?
41st? Because you said 91st, and that's immediately what I thought it was. But I
want to say it's 41st Recon.
Dude,
41st
JT
Elite. 41st Elite 4.
JT's got a cooking here. I could see Cole as a 187th Secret Assassin Fast Blade ones from Revenge of the Sith video game.
He's speaking my language. I have loved those clones ever since that game came out. They got to recanonize those. I didn't even know that there was a specific legion for that.
Is there?
On. 187th Legion. Oh my god! Whoa!
I like. Is that the assassins from Revenge of the Sith game? Actually, are called the 187th.
So the 187th is like the Purple Legends Legion, but he's saying that I would be an assassin clone. From that,
he knew what?
Yeah,
JT.
Yeah, he's got it there, because there was a mod for Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005 that I played a lot called Ultimate Battlefront, and you would be able to play as the clone assassins, and like that was me every time. So
yeah, dude,
I think JT's on to something. That's probably I think I would go for that.
Yeah, when I feel basic for choosing commandos, I just love commandos, dude. Like,
well,
I don't know.
I choose commandos too. Like,
it's true. It's true.
I still think that like maybe a commando that has like clone assassin training or something.
I mean, the commandos already have those like the Katarn wrist blades, you know,
which is so cool.
Yeah, imagine if yours was like you remember Doomslayer's giant knife that comes out in Doom Eternal. Like, imagine a commando with like a really big one, like the assassins.
Are we gonna have to make our own clones? Is that what we're doing?
I think we're gonna have to. Keep an eye out for something similar to that. Not quite. That's coming hopefully at the end of next week, maybe before Acolyte. If not, it will be probably. It might be after Acolyte. We'll have to see just kind of the pacing of that. But we have something coming up after. Before light, after light. Let's see what everybody else said. Poptography, Patrick, pilot of a gunship for sure. Underrated. I love gunships, dude.
Just make sure that you put extra shielding on the windows, because those guys get shot down like all the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, or just make sure you have a main character in your ship at all times, and you'll be fine.
Well, even with that, they've crashed, you know. So
true.
Like. Make sure that you have another main character in the secondary pilot seat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It'd be fun to be in one of those little bubble gun things.
I've always wanted to pilot one of those.
Like you see the battlefield underneath you, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I love in Republic Commando when you can get on those and just like shred the Geonosians. Like it's so fun.
Man, I want to play Republic Commando again.
I know. I'm like,
I did it again just last year, but like, could it just be a yearly thing that I do this now?
It's not a long game. You can beat it in like 4 or 5 hours. You know, like it's not.
Yeah, which
it's
is surprising because when I played it when I was younger, I was like, oh my god, this is so difficult. It's such a long game. Yeah. So.
Let's see. Jacob, I think when you said you didn't even have an answer to your own question, he said Cole moment. It's so true.
Jacob hates me with a burning passion.
Jacob, if there are no Cole haters, Jacob is dead. I'm just kidding. Mortis Squad, dude. Mortis Squad goes kind of hard, bro. I don't know. It's kind of dope. I feel like that's like Balin Skull's squad right there. Mortis Squad.
And we really got to think about. Oh my god, we got to make our own commandos with our own squad. That'd be so
dude.
cool.
We got to do it. Got to come up with a member, like a name for each member, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the 41st is Commander Grease unit.
Yep,
I think those guys, I love
Elite.
their green visors, dude. I love them. I think they're so cool.
Gree looks so cool, man. He was one of my personal favorite clones when I was a kid, just because like the green visor was just so cool.
It pops, man. Okay, weird thing. This is my dumb kid brain. So the ones that we see in Kashyyyk, I believe it is Gree, because there's the kind of scout trooper-esque one, and then there's the other one, and I believe that one is Gree that Yoda decapitates. Am I correct on that matter?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you remember what he looks like? Obviously, he's got like the kind of patchwork camo and the green visor. My dumb kid brain was like, oh, like I don't know why. I cannot explain to you. I was a stupid baby, all right? that what you could see in the green was their brain.
What?
I legit was like, oh, that's like their brains. You can see their brains.
Like, you mean like if they were to take off their helmet, it would just be a brain?
Like, yeah.
Okay. Like
I was like, oh, that's like their flesh and stuff underneath. Don't know why I thought that. I thought they were like specialized, like weird. Don't know. I'm gonna look it up right now just to see if like what I was even thinking.
I don't know if it's worth like just seeking that out because I don't know what you're gonna find in respect to that.
I'm not looking up the brain thing. I'm just looking up Commander Gree 41st.
Commander Gree brain.
Why did I think this? I don't.
You're kid. You know?
I swear, like when I was a kid, you could see like these like waves and stuff underneath the green. You can't.
I mean, I was almost convinced. Actually, this might actually be true, but I was convinced that in Republic Commando, you can, if you look in the visors, you can see their eyes.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm. And in the game, it looks like you can see eyes in there. But I might be wrong.
By the way, because this is live, I just wanted to say, I think I've cemented the fact that this kind of complements our duo very well since we're on the clone topic. You would say probably nowadays, right, that Scorch is your favorite commando from Delta Squad, correct?
I think so, yeah. I grew up really loving Fixer, and I do still have a soft spot. I mean, I have a soft spot for all of them, but like Scorch, I don't know. I love that guy. I really do.
Yeah. So, as a kid, other than Boss, because I loved like the leader types, and I still do like the leader types a lot. I think that was kind of my niche thing. Like for Halo players, Buck is my favorite Halo character. Carter was my favorite from Noble Team. Like I loved just having the leader of the squad, right? I was like, man, like it takes a lot to be a leader, to be able to stay strong and command everybody. And so Boss was always was one that gravitated to me. So I loved Boss, but in terms of the other members, Sev was always my favorite, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I love Scorch. Like Scorch is also one. I have a soft spot for all of them. Scorch is easily the funniest. Like I love one line that I love is just like, did you like? Boss is like, did you secure the data? He's like, oh yeah, I got the data. He's just like, where is it? He's like, oh, where is it at? It's just like, you don't want to know.
Dude, all of his lines are just so so perfect. Like, was it red, green, or red, green, red? You know?
Yeah. And he's supposed to be the demolitions expert.
Yeah, exactly.
But I saw this edit last night that it was such a rare TikTok for you page pull, was a edit of Scorch and Sev.
Oh.
And I forget that throughout the game, they're kind of bros. Like, they're kind of homies. Like, before they jump out of the ship to go into the ghost ship, they like do like the lethal weapon like clasp and then like jump out. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, maybe
they're pod
Sev.
brothers.
They are. And so I'm like, okay, if Scorch is Cole's favorite, like I think Sev is mine, just because they're just homies, dude. Like I love them.
They're just bros.
I've got Scorch right there. I've got Boss right there. So.
I gotta get me some Commando merch. There was when we went to Star Wars Celebration 2017, there was a bust of Fixer that I really wanted.
I remember.
And I don't remember if I just didn't have the money for it or if when I came back it was gone.
Yeah.
But I was heartbroken because I really wanted that. But
maybe next time we can find one for you. Find you either a Scorch or a Fix or something. I don't know.
One of these days, I would love to just have the set. Like I would love to have all 4 of them because I love all of them in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, really that leads me to my question then.
Yeah.
Kind of perfectly. And this doesn't have to be one of your answers, but outside of the films, so that would be your main films, what are the top 3 Star Wars just things in general that influenced your love of it? So that could be video games, that could be books, that could be comics, that could be music, it could be literally a toy that you loved, whatever. Like, what are the kind of the and it doesn't have to be in a specific rank, just kind of like the 3 things that you think of back on your childhood that you were like, man, like other than the movies, these things, like, and they could be tied to the movies. Like you could say like, oh, Battlefront 2 2005, I'm sure is probably one. And that's kind of tied to Revenge of the Sith, but it's still like, it's not a movie, right?
Yeah. Okay. So obviously since you had already just brought it out, Battlefront 2 2005 was really one of the key perpetuators of my Star Wars love, because my brother Seth and I played that when we were kids all the time. Always Mos Eisley Hero Assault, like day in day out, and like playing the campaign back to back, and Conquest on Coruscant and on Polis Massa and all that jazz, like over and over and over and over. Like it never got old, because like the replayability value of that game is just top notch. On top of that, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
I mean, come on.
Well, honestly, like in that regard, like Lego Star Wars, and then Lego Star Wars: The Original Trilogy, and then Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, like just all of that, because in that order specifically, I think that just really brought not only my love but also my knowledge of Star Wars. But I think one of the biggest things is Star Wars Galactic Heroes. Which were these little packs of 2 different characters, and like looking back on it, like the poses were silly and the characters like kind of looked ugly, but like they stood like this basically, and like doing like a squat too. But collecting all of them was just really, really cool. Like I remember how excited I was when I went to Target and I found this big Galactic Hero set of every bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back. And I was like, yes. And
you love bounty hunters.
I love bounty hunters. I really wanted Boba Fett and IG-88, and like I wanted the whole set. And they would have those big sets too, where like you could get the Rancor, you could get like a starship or an AT-AT. And so something that I remember was that I went on a family trip to Atlanta, Georgia, and like I was super young, and there was this like period of time where we were like at a hotel, and we were waiting for our excursion to do something, and there was a super Target nearby, and I went there and we found a episode 2 big set of Obi-Wan with his Jedi Starfighter on Kamino. And I got that, and like it was a big hotel, so I would while we were waiting for what we were gonna do, I would just go out to the lobby and I would put Obi-Wan in his starfighter and just kind of like fly around and like just like that kind of memories. And my brother and I, we would we both got the Galactic Heroes, so we would set up big armies and just like full on like Star Wars sandbox, like throw everything that we had at each other.
Yeah.
Right? So lots of memories there. I think that three, like those three. There's a lot of stuff I could continue to say, like but
well, I'll go ahead and say that I'm going to go ahead and throw another question here, so that way you can kind of give a little bit more, maybe make you reconsider. One of my other questions, and I'll give my answers. Do not worry. But my very first question actually was, what was your most memorable Star Wars toy or toys as a kid, or one that stands out to you? And I know you didn't see the thumbnail, but I did already put Galactic Heroes on the thumbnail because I knew. And so it's Kit Fisto and Grievous in one pack, and Grievous has a blaster and a saber.
I love. So I imagine.
I'm sure you did. Pack. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if that little thing made you love General Grievous that as much as you do today.
Grievous was always cool, man. Like, I don't know what it was, but like I always loved Grievous. So I had gotten there's a bunch of memorable. You said like the question was specifically toys.
Toy or toys, yeah. What is like some that were like the most memorable for you? And I figured that was, since that was already part of the answer for what made you love Star Wars so much, that also probably chains off of that.
Yeah, so I mean, I could continue to answer that since there's like more stuff there.
Go for it.
Of course, all the Galactic Heroes. That specific dual pack with Kit Fisto and Grievous was great. But also there was a Vader that I got, and like he had like the whole cape and everything, and I always thought that I
think I have that one.
Yeah, because like his lenses were red, and I was and I just remember thinking that was just so cool. But also, I remember specifically the day that I got this one pack because I was so excited about it. Was that I went to Walmart, local Walmart, and there was a dual pack of a 501st Trooper and a Revenge of the Sith Red Eyes Anakin. And I was like, yes, this is so cool. And so like I would take that Anakin and just go like just I would have a really great time with that. So
do you remember and not to cut in, but just because I'm like I obviously wasn't into the Galactic Heroes as much as you were, but I did have some. So I believe that Vader, did it come with Luke, like Farm Boy Luke with a lightsaber?
There was a bunch of Vader dual packs. I think there was maybe one with a Stormtrooper, but I think one did come with Luke.
Because I feel like I vividly have that Vader with the red eyes, and then it's Luke with his blue lightsaber from A New Hope. And then I think I also have a Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan, but I don't know what that came with.
And I remember
looking at him.
Yeah. So there's this one pack with Vader and Luke from Return of the Jedi. And both of them are kind of like doing this pose, but the cool thing about Vader was that you could remove his helmet in that one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, there's one with him and Palpatine, and oh my god.
You gotta pull
Pilot Luke.
Oh, maybe I have Pilot Luke. I don't even remember, dude.
Yeah, it looks like there's one with Vader and Pilot Luke.
Maybe that's what it is then.
Vader and Leia. There's a lot of like Vader and dude, this stuff was just so cool.
You gotta one day, because I know you cleaned out a little bit of your Funko Pops, but one day you gotta pull out a couple of those to set them on display just for the nostalgia, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go into storage. I hope I still have them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I loved this pack. There was a dual pack of Luke and a Gamorrean guard from. And it's Luke's like actual like robes, not the one from. Yeah, it's just really cool.
You know, apparently they still make Galactic Heroes. They're just really hard to find.
Yeah, I think they like changed how
they like their arms like move now and stuff.
Oh my god, I found it! I found the one with the Red Eyes Anakin and the 501st Trooper.
Really?
Yeah, that is so cool.
I think I have I think I have a clone as well. I don't have Anakin. Maybe there was one with like Obi-Wan and a clone. I don't remember.
They had like a bunch of like different styled ones, because like there's Obi-Wan in his Clone Wars armor, and I think that's Commander Pons.
Really?
Oh, there's Bly and Ayla Sakura. Like they did all these characters, man.
That's so crazy.
But yeah, there's the one with Kit Fisto and Grievous. I loved that Grievous, dude.
Yeah, he has the blaster in one hand and the saber in the other.
He's got the big cape. He's got the big cape. This is really great. That was Dooku and Ventress.
Oh wow, it's kind of crazy how much Ventress was in the marketing for that time because of the Genndy Tartakovsky show.
Yeah, that was oh my god, Palpatine and Yoda, but it's like Palpatine all in red robes.
The red robe version.
Okay,
Great
I'm gonna get out of this rabbit hole, but yeah. So I think that and some other memorable Star Wars toys was the super cheap plastic lightsabers that you could get from the store.
Yeah, of course.
With like the little red button that you would hold down, and then and like it would be so cool if you found a purple one.
So rare.
Yeah, and of course, like they would always break. They would always break because
eventually.
I remember we were Seth and I were playing with these neighborhood kids, and someone's gonna get hurt. It happens every time.
Yeah, dude.
And I don't remember who got hit, but like one of the neighbors got hit, and like their parents never wanted us to hang out with them again. So and like we were just playing lightsabers, but they were like we don't want you to hang around our kids again. It was just like, okay, like, we're just playing lightsabers.
It always happens, dude. Someone's finger gets hit, or like someone gets mad because of that, and then my dad has a story of for no reason, unprompted, I like flipped the other end of the saber, like with the handle, and those things were not like dull edges. They weren't soft. They were hard plastic. Yeah. And I remember I just hit him in the leg with one, and he was like, "Oh!" Like when Obi-Wan kicks Grievous, and he's like, "Oh!" That was literally that. Yeah. So, man. Okay. So with that being said, since you the toys thing kind of connected, if you had to to replace the Galactic Heroes, since that's also in the toys, if you had to choose one more, you chose, I think it was Battlefront 2, 2005, and Lego. Is there another one that might fit in there? Maybe I mean, and if not, that's okay, because I said just Star Wars things in general, but
it's weird because like the only thing that's coming to mind is like games, and so I'm like, is there anything other than games that would actual Legos?
True.
Like actually building Legos. Like I would build those Lego sets, and I would make my own custom clones. Like I would paint them. What I would do is I would take a nail filer, and I would file off the fins on the clone trooper helmets, and then I would paint the visors and make a commando. And I remember I made a clone assassin as well. I had filed off like some of his visor and his helmet, and then I used Sharpie to create like thin lines.
Yeah.
And then I like made little paper spikes and glued them to his wrists. And
no way, dude. That is awesome. I never knew that.
Yeah, I was I just really loved that like arts and crafts sort of stuff. So I would make my own legions. And then just as like an honorable mention, Knights of the Old Republic. And it's really weird how it still perpetuated my Star Wars love without me ever leaving Terrace. Without me ever leaving Terrace until like 2021, when I was like, I gotta actually play this game for real.
Yeah.
But it just had such a profound effect on me. So.
Yeah, man, I love. There was the reason I asked these questions is because I just love like talking about that sort of stuff, and so just sitting here like living vicariously through you, even though I have my own things, which I'll get to in just a second. But yeah, that's super cool. So what about yourself? Because now you got 2 questions to answer, I think. So. Yeah. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Let's see. Cole Cohen, Complete Saga. Yes, Cole, one of the best games of all time.
It's so
great
good.
Game. Yeah,
it's really. I'm gonna say this real fast. There's this. Oh, hi Taz.
the cat slumber is awakened.
Wait,
You might have to go let her out.
I'm gonna let her out. Hold
on. In the meantime, Jacob Grayson, was that an Into the Spider-Verse reference? What did I say? I don't remember. Let me know if you're still watching. It probably was, and I didn't even remember. Also, and maybe Cole can attest to this as well. I still have this helmet, Jacob. It's in my garage. Actually, no, it's not in here yet. It's in my garage, but yes, I still have the Revenge of the Sith 2005 Vader helmet with voice changer. It had the control box on the chest.
I had so many of those voice changers. I had the Vader one.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Clone Trooper one that had Clone Wars lines. And then I had and this is unrelated to Star Wars, but I had an Optimus Prime helmet, which was like probably my favorite.
Yeah, dude. I think I still have that one. Cole said it always breaks, and you said eventually. That was not intentional Spider-Verse reference, but that actually is pretty funny. Sergeant Fett asked, as we were talking about the Commandos, I think he said, is Cole still looking for Republic Commandos in the Black series, which is like those figures? Are you?
Yeah, because I was thinking that I was thinking before that like it would at least be neat to get them in Black series, but eventually,
yeah. They're not that hard to find.
Yeah, I think it's like what I'm really gonna look for when we go to Celebration is the busts, because like it's just so high detailed. It looks so good.
I've got I believe it was the same brand. I think it was Gentle Giant, but I have my Kanan bust that has the swappable head, so you can have one with the bearded Kanan and then one where it's Kanan with like the shaved face and the and it's so cool, dude. I love that. I don't have any room to put it up right now. When I have room to actually put things on shelves, I will put it up. But okay, so let me go back and double check. Okay, the first question was, outside of the films, what are the top 3 Star Wars things that influence your love of it? Okay. I mean, off the rip, Force Unleashed. Literally, not just the game, like in general. The Force Unleashed in its entirety. Every version of the game, every version of the comic books.
Why did that
apps.
not? Yeah,
were you obsessed with it too?
Yeah. I was so engrossed with that, man. Especially the PSP version where like you could like do those duels between the characters. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you could play through all the duels. No, you're good. The Force Unleashed. So for original trilogy kids, for that those fans, they had Shadows of the Empire, right? That was their thing, where it takes place between 5 and 6. It's how Luke got his green lightsaber, Prince Caesar. It was Dash Rendar. Like, there was the video games, there was the comic books, there was the regular books, there was the like different versions of the video game, and like all of them were all like kind of different versions of the story or would fill in the gaps. And so that was kind of that big initiative push. Like Boba Fett was involved and everything, and like there was all these toys. For prequel kids, that was Force Unleashed, where it was it's between episodes 3 and 4. It's Darth Vader's secret apprentice, and you had the very first version that I had. I remember when the trailer came out, that first trailer where Starkiller, he's in the all black robes at that time, right? And he's on some kind of Coruscant looking planet, and like it's not really defined. And he rips down this, like you see the shot of the Star Destroyer, and then it comes down, and it's just this robed figure, and then just yanks it down. And that was it. That was the entire teaser for it.
Such an iconic.
So good. And I remember my dad showing me that because he would get emails from StarWars.com for like new trailers and stuff, which is also how I got exposed to the Old Republic trailers, which. Maybe not in my top 3, but definitely an honorable mention, and I'm sure for you as well, are the Old Republic trailers.
We gotta play through that game, man. I think that would be
all of the Old Republic.
I just think it would be so fun to like team up as like we make our 2 Old Republic Jedi, right, and then go through the story together. I just think that'd be a lot of fun.
We got to do it. Yeah, we've done it a little bit with what do you call it? We did the Sith. I remember one of our most iconic inside jokes is just that one Imperial officer just going, "Thank you." Just saying thank you so fast.
Yeah, there's a little inside joke between us is that while we were playing, and this was when we were both working at Disney at the time, we were doing a little like dungeon or event or something, and we were talking to this Imperial, and I think it was Grayson or something that said some sort of dialogue option that like compliments the Imperial, and he says in response, "Thank you," like so fast. He's just like, "Thank you." I don't know, like you know, like when there's
we were in separate rooms too when we both did
onto it. Yeah.
Dude, no, we were right next to each other because we both had our laptops at the time.
Yeah,
but still,
but we both in unison just kind of said, "Thank you,
thank you." We got to play that. But yeah. Anyway, back to Force Unleashed. Yeah. Just that entire entity, that entire installment. Whether it was the PS2 version, which was my first installment, and then the 360 version, and then the PSP version, and then the DS version, and then the iOS version, and then the comic book. The Wii. The Wii, I would watch gameplay of the Wii version because I'm like, I don't have a Wii. So I had to watch people play through it, and I was like, that's so cool. Yeah, dude. Force Unleashed in general, just I probably played through the Force Unleashed PS2 version. It had to have been over 100 times. It was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, also when the Ultimate Sith Edition came out, bro, with the DLCs, it was so cool. And I remember specifically being at my grandmother's house, sitting in her game room and watching there was this website that came out before the Force Unleashed 2 released, where it would tease it. And so you would go on to it, and occasionally there would be updates where it would show you a look of the Kaminoan cloning pods.
Yep.
And then as it got closer to release date, one of the pods would slowly become more and more unstable, as if he was going to break out. Yeah. And then after a certain period of time, I think it was after release, you would go back on the website and the pod was broken open, and you heard the alarm going off. And I just remember as a kid going oh my god, I'm so excited for this game. And of course, it was still really great. So
yeah, I completely agree. The Force Unleashed 2 as well. I was just obsessed with that game. And honestly, if it wasn't for the Force Unleashed and another honorable mention, I won't put it in my top 3, but with the Clone Wars movie and show, that really continued our love and my love for Star Wars Beyond.
I was there every week, tuned into the Clone Wars, especially when Maul came back. I remember that was so exciting at that time. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. He's back.
Yeah. You made it further than I did. I only made it to season 2 before maybe we had changed providers, or I got more into gaming at the time. And I remember being I remember seeing the advertisements on Cartoon Network that Maul was coming back, and I was like, what the heck? Maul is back, dude?
What the heck?
Yeah, and I was like, I want to catch up, but I didn't have a way to because I was so behind. I had missed out on some weeks, and so eventually, it was years later that I was like, okay, I think I had made it up to maybe season 3, and then I was like, okay, I got to go back and finish the show. But Force Unleashed has got to be in my top 3. Number 2, and again, I know it's easy to think of video games. Jedi Outcast for me was.
There's the difference between us because I never got the chance to play those.
See, it was Jedi Outcast was so rare because it wasn't on PlayStation at all. It wasn't on PS2. It was on original Xbox, which I never had an original Xbox, but it was also on PC. And I would have never have played those games if it was not for my dad. Because he would play those PC games. he read the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and then he played Dark Forces 1, and then Dark Forces 2, and then Jedi Outcast. And I don't remember him like ever. I do remember the day he brought home Battlefront 2 2005. I remember that very vividly, and like I remember sitting on his lap when I was like 4 or 5 or maybe 6, like watching him play Battlefront 2, and then he let me play, and I sucked at it. I was so bad, dude. But then I remember playing Jedi Outcast, and he found a way you could put in cheat codes through the console commands.
Yeah.
And so he would always, like, I'd always get on, and he would put in the console commands. He's like, have fun.
Oh,
and
that's so nice of him to do.
yeah, and I had no idea what I was doing, but the idea of, like, he would give me the lightsaber and all the force powers from the first mission, because in the campaign, you don't get your lightsaber to, like, 4 or 5 missions in. It's kind of like after the first third of the game, you get your lightsaber back. But he would just give me all of that stuff. And I remember, like, there's a reason why Kyle Katarn is one of my favorites, along with Starkiller. Is, I mean, like, I remember, like, being in my room with one of those telescopic lightsabers from, like, you know, from the toy store or whatever, or Walmart. And I remember hanging it on my belt and reenacting cutscenes from Jedi Outcast in my room, like a little kid. Like I was like 7 or 8, right? And I remember there was like my favorite cutscene was when right after you first get your lightsaber, you're on Nar Shaddaa and you're trying to find this crime lord informant guy, Relo Baruch. We have that meme of him just like the Rodian guy.
Yeah.
And you go to Nar Shaddaa, and at this point, Kyle like has his force powers back, but he's not fully Jedi mode. Like he's not like, you know, a wise Jedi master. He's doing this for revenge. And so he goes and they take all of his weapons, but not his lightsaber, because they don't know what it is. And so he like goes up to the bar, and he's like, I remember he like asks for a drink, and then like lays his, like when the guy won't give him what he needs, he like lays the lightsaber on the table. And the guy's like, oh, like he's like, it's this Chiss guy, but he doesn't like speak basic very well. He's like so sorry, Master Jedi, or whatever. And he's like, and then I remember very vividly him going, I'm no Jedi. I'm just a guy with a lightsaber and a few questions. And I remember thinking, like, that's so sick, dude.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I didn't know how. Like, I knew that you loved Kyle Katarn, but I didn't know like all of this backstory behind that. I think that's really great.
And that scene, I was just being like, that is so sick, dude. Like, he is just, I'm like the kind of gunslinger look, but with a lightsaber, and he's like, he's ready to do business. And of course, the guy sets off an alarm and locks down the bar, and all of these scum pull out their blasters, and so you pull out your lightsaber and you're chopping down all these
just iconic kind of Star Wars vibes on that.
That was such a cool scene for me, of like, man, this rough around the edges mercenary Jedi guy, like, just so, and that's why post Return of the Jedi era Star Wars is so iconic for me. And of course, just like a lot of prequel kids, they're like, man, I love, you know, the idea of cutting down battle droids and stuff. But for me, because of that game, I was like, I'm like, I always was like cutting down stormtroopers, right? Like I remember on the back of the CD case was this art of, it's supposed to be Kyle Katarn. It looks nothing like Kyle. It's a guy, he's clean shaven, really short military style haircut. He has a jacket on, but he has a lightsaber, and he's like cutting down all these stormtroopers. And I remember being like, it's like, it's pitch black, and he's fighting all these stormtroopers. And I think that's also why The Force Unleashed stood out to me so much, because I just loved the idea of fighting stormtroopers and things. And so I kind of had this weird, like, in between of like, you know, obviously, I mean, every kid fantasized about, like, you know, being a Jedi in the Clone Wars and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, there's my mini tangent with Jedi Outcast.
That's really great. I don't know why it brought into my mind about how much I loved the LucasArts logo for Force Unleashed.
Dude, though.
You know? where like he would throw the lightsaber, and then it would go over his head and create that little thing, and then he would do the lightning.
And then he would do the force push, and it would blow away all the debris.
Yeah.
And it played like the little thing that was like, ba, da, na, 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 na.
One of the most iconic Star Wars themes for me, man.
And it's not on any streaming services anywhere. You can't even buy that soundtrack. Like, the Force Unleashed soundtrack is goated, dude.
They gotta bring it back. And imagine if they did a Force Unleashed remake. I would be
on today's technology, dude.
I know. Like they do an actual solid remake that revitalizes all those old mechanics, and then just kind of like what they're supposedly doing with Knights of the Old Republic, which I really, if anyone official is listening, just get on that, please. But yeah, I think that could just be, that would be really cool, especially for Sam Witwer too, because like know that he loves Starkiller. I mean, like that was essentially his gateway role for Star Wars. So give it
the Dead Space remake treatment. You know?
My god!
Like even then, Dead Space wasn't that intense of a game. Obviously, had different physics and stuff. But I think the first Dead Space came out in 2008, then they did the remake last year. That's the exact same timeline of like, give us Force Unleashed remake. That's all I'm saying. Like, because that game was really pushing so much technology at the time, that like I would just love. It'd be so good. Gotta think for one more for what influenced my love. I don't want to go for 3 video games, but I'm going to just because I have to. I got to be honest, and it's Lego Star Wars. I mean,
hell yeah!
Like you said, the first game, then the original trilogy, and then the complete saga. Every version, every iteration was so influential. I'll tell kind of like your Galactic Heroes memory. I got the first Lego Star Wars on the PS2. On Christmas Day with a PlayStation 2, along with Battlefront 2 2005. I got both of those games. What a
good day for you.
Yeah, dude. That was like, I also remember I got a Darth Maul lightsaber as well. So like I went like a double-bladed one, and that was just like, that was...
You're doing all right.
Yeah, like Christmas Star Wars was like it for me, dude.
Yeah.
That's why like I just love Star Wars around Christmas time. But yeah, I remember playing Lego Star Wars and being like, I remember, I think it was on a Sunday, and so we actually were going to go to church, so we woke up early, and I remember playing the beginning of the Phantom Menace, playing the first level, and being like, this is so cool, dude. Like, I loved it. And then a couple years later, I got, they did the original trilogy, and I remember it came out in the summer. I bought it from Blockbuster. Blockbuster was still a thing at the time, and we had a local one my dad and I went to all the time. And I remember it was summer, and I was in a summer camp for Boy Scouts. It was just a day camp. And so it was a whole week-long thing. And I remember one of the days, maybe it was right before it, my mom took me and I used some money that I had done from chores to buy it. And I remember, I just have this memory of being on the Junlin Waste level, which I believe is I think that's the second level in A New Hope.
First one is Tantive 4, and second one, I think it is the Junlin Waste.
I think it's the second one, and then the third one is Mos Eisley, and then the fourth one is the Death Star, and then the fifth one is the Trench Run. Yeah. And so I remember playing, I just have a vivid memory of coming home from day camp, and I was exhausted, but I was so excited to play the game. And just because I was out in the sun all day and then playing the Junlin Waste level, and I remember like hearing that music of like the Tusken Raiders theme from like A New Hope, and just yes, you knew exactly the motif I was thinking of. Yeah,
it was literally in my head while you could like jump on the panther like a panther.
Dude, and then of course, actually before I even got the complete saga, my memory was I ended up actually getting, I got the complete saga, but it was on PSP. And so I remember like I had already played both of them, the first and the second on my PS2, but my dad had a PSP and he let me play it all the time. Like he was like, cause I could use it more than he could. And so, whenever he wasn't using it, he would let me play. And so I got the complete saga. We rented it from Blockbuster, funnily enough. We were Blockbuster goers, like Godspeed, soldier. I loved Blockbuster, dude. And I remember getting that and renting it. And so my parents worked for like an affiliate company at the time. They were selling this like ice cream. And so I remember we went to New Orleans for a business thing. And so that was my very first time flying in a plane. And so my dad, they rented that game for me because they knew like I'd be bored a lot. And so, dude, I was locked into that game, brother. Like I was like any chance I could get, I was playing Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga on the PSP. And I remember like everybody thought I was the man because I had that game, because none of the other parents gave their kids like and it wasn't my PSP. Right, it was. And so I remember very vividly, we were in a conference room and my parents were doing this whole thing or whatever. They had to sit through it. It was like hours and hours. And it was me and a couple of kids. And we were all in the very back of the conference room, and they were just all gathered around me as I'm playing. I'm playing Lego Star Wars, and occasionally, like I would let them play, and I'm like, "You suck," and I like get it back. And I just, yeah, man. I remember we came home from that trip, and I remember I was like laying on the couch still playing it until it got to the point where my eyes were burning because I was looking at the screen for so much, and my mom was like, "You have
so
to."
Intensely.
Yeah, I was like, my mom was like. I was like, oh, my eyes, they burn. Like, and my mom was literally like, you have to, like, you got to take a break. And I was like, okay. And I like, cause I was playing it so much, dude. So, Force Unleashed, Jedi Outcast, and Complete Saga, or just Lego Star Wars in general.
Clearly games are influential to us.
Yeah. If I had to choose an honorable mention that wasn't a game, it would be, and of course, other than Clone Wars, would be this one, The Wrath of Darth Maul by Ryder Wyndham, was a book that I got at the Scholastic Book Fair. I made a post on Mortis pretty recently about it. I also have a Luke Skywalker one called I believe it's A New Hope, The Life of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
At the time as a kid, Darth Maul and Luke Skywalker were my favorite Star Wars characters. Like, if I really have to think back on it, other than Starkiller, they were my favorite characters. I just thought they were so cool.
Based?
Yeah, I was like, and to this day, I still love them. I mean,
they're incredible characters. Like, there's no reason to not love them, especially. I mean, like, it's crazy because like we loved Maul so much, and this was before he came back. This
was literally just when he got cut in half, dude.
Yeah, like an absolute bozo in Phantom Menace, you know.
Yeah,
and we were all like, dude, he's so cool. I mean, it's literally just the Boba Fett treatment. It happens.
And I had a Boba Fett phase as well until some people were like, Boba Fett sucks because he died immediately. And I was like, I just had no counterpoint. I was like, yeah, this is the book right here, by the way. Yeah. No way.
I also got this from the Scholastic Book Fair.
Have you ever read it?
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good book.
Leads right up into the Clone Wars of him being found by Savage, and I just thought that was so cool. And honestly, now I'm really surprised of just how good of condition this is still in. I mean, honestly, good on me. Good on me.
Do you have any more of those?
Of this specifically?
Like of that, because it's an entire line. It's 4 books.
No, this is the only one I got.
Okay. So I'm missing the other 2, and I want to add them to my collection. So there was an Anakin Darth Vader one, and then there was also an Obi-Wan one, which I'm sure I really want. But this was after I got the Maul one. This was the other one that I got.
Oh,
and it's
so cool.
This is the back of it.
That's right. I remember that. Dude, I was like, oh man, that's so cool.
So good, dude. This one is also great. It takes place after Return of the Jedi, which is why I was thinking about this book recently. Like, I'm sure you've noticed I have been really in like a Luke Skywalker mood lately. And I was just like, dude, like, I just love Luke, man. Like, he was just, eventually it clicked. I was like, Luke is great. Which does connect into my toys thing here in a second. But yeah, those books, I need to get the Obi-Wan version and the Vader version just so I can have the full set. Yeah, mine is in like stellar condition, dude. Like,
I love how this stream has just turned into us like walking over to our shelves, going like, this thing is really cool. Have you seen this thing? I mean, I think that is, and the audience could potentially corroborate this. I think the biggest draw to Mortis FM is the casual nature that we have. It's like we're just talking about Star Wars and geeking out about it without Like we have structure episode wise, but there is enough space to where we can just talk about one tangential thing that's not even related to what we were saying for like maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, I get messages all the time.
I've only asked you one of my questions.
Yeah, this is why I was like, we got to do 3, and you were like, no, we got to do 5, and I was like, okay.
I think we can still pull it off.
We can. I still got to do the second question, but let me catch up with the chat real quick. Let's see. Let's see. JT said, so this is the Force Unleashed stream. Partially.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Force Unleashed stream.
Peter said, my top 3 were the first Lego X-Wing from 1999 and all coming Legos. Apart from that, my DIY lightsabers made of broomsticks and flashlights, and then making a Phantom Menace that I won in a kid's quiz. That's awesome. I love that. I remember also my parents making me I think my parents made me a DIY lightsaber with like the cardboard roll that you use for like wrapping paper. One ran out, and I was like, can I make this a lightsaber? And I remember like drawing it, whatever. Of course, like I don't know why, because I already had the other lightsabers, but I just you'll hear in a second where my obsession with lightsabers all began. They should make Force Unleashed a series. Hey, I wouldn't mind that. I personally believe it's more suited to the video game nature, just because how over the top it is. Like it's the God of War, Dragon Ball Z-ification of Star Wars in a way. But
honestly, it is. Yeah, I think I would really just love to see a reimagining. I mean, they don't even have to put it in canon if they don't want to, but like I would just love to see it be brought back because I mean it was so influential. It's really
I was talking with Will and some of the other guys, and it's like I'm of the belief that Disney should stop trying to make one Star Wars for everybody and make multiple Star Warses for not like so that way they're not limited to the confines of canon, right? Like I mean, who wouldn't watch an animated Heir to the Empire trilogy series, you know? Or like or like a Star Wars like TIE Fighter anime. Like there's a fan film that was like that from years ago. I mean, a Force Unleashed anime would go crazy. Like I won't lie, like that would be insane.
Well, if they really wanted to, they could just continue making things under the Legends banner. Like
exactly.
Because Legends is already there. So if they just want to say, oh, hey, here's a new Star Wars Legends game. You know, like this isn't specifically canon. It can be if you want. Knock yourself out. But like this is new Legends.
I mean, the best example of that is Star Wars Visions, where it's all these stories that are that they don't 100%. Fit into canon. Like, I mean, you could make them fit maybe if you really tried to think about it, but like the Ronin is really kind of its own universe. It takes things that are obviously from Star Wars and just kind of makes its own new thing. And like, again, Legends has not gone anywhere. It's still there. And so like, if people that's their Star Wars, let's make more stuff in that, but also let's keep making stuff in canon, so Star Wars is for everybody. Everybody has their own Star Wars, and that's kind of why we're talking about this right now. What was our Star Wars growing up? So Chris said, afternoon all, happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to you too, Chris. Thank you for being here. Okay, so my toys. I'll try to make this brief. Obviously I'm obsessed with lightsabers. You know this. I believe this is you didn't know. This all derived from my very first lightsaber that I remember was a Obi-Wan one of those telescopic lightsabers. It was Obi-Wan's Phantom Menace one. Actually, I believe it was technically the Attack of the Clones line, but they just released them for every movie. So they were roughly the same thing. Those red buttons right on the hilt, and then you could flick them out.
I think my first one was Qui-Gon's from the Phantom.
Oh, really?
It was the green one.
Okay, you had the green blade? Yeah. Okay, so mine was Obi-Wan's, but it was with a green blade. And in my head, this is my kid brain, and I think this is kind of creative. I don't know. in my head, that was Luke's saber. And
Oh,
obviously, like, if you look at them, they're not the same hilt. But there's some subtle inspirations. We obviously know that eventually Obi-Wan's saber ends up looking like Luke's second green saber looks a lot like Obi-Wan's final saber, right? And so in my mind, I always viewed like that Obi-Wan saber being kind of that natural progression. So they didn't sell a Luke green lightsaber. But in my mind, that was Luke's green. And so that was my first one. And then the rabbit hole just unfolded. And I probably had an entire bin full of, I think in total I had that green one. That was my oldest one. Yeah. I had an Anakin blue one because you had to have an Anakin one. I had, I did not have any Qui-Gon ones, surprisingly. I think as a kid, I hated Qui-Gon's hilt. I did not like it. Yeah. Now I love it. I love that saber.
Character development.
Yeah. Yeah. I had another Obi-Wan with a purple blade, which we had to order online because I was like, I went through a Mace Windu phase and I was like, I want a purple lightsaber. All right. I had an Anakin red because again,
I was gonna say we had an Anakin red.
Yeah, you had to because you had to have the duality, the blue and the red.
We just had a full bin. We would just get more, even if we had. I mean, because either they would break, or I would just go like, okay, but that one's like different with this color. Like,
You're like, you gotta. Yeah, mine was the same way because I also had the ones that were electronic, so they wouldn't go all the way in, but some of them
ones.
Kinda, yeah. There was that one, I'm sure you probably remember, there was Anakin's hilt, but it could go from blue to red, you know?
We had that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I had Star Killers, actually. They sold it for The Force Unleashed, and what you did is it had the little prongs, and if you put them in, the saber was green, but if you press this button...
You're right.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I was never able to get that one, I don't think.
It's hard. It was hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I remember, and it's on the thumbnail, I remember getting for Christmas, there was a ultimate lightsaber builder pack. That was, do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Where you could change out the parts and put in a crystal and everything?
Yes, I was so bad at it, but it was so cool. I don't think I could ever figure it out. I was literally just sitting there just like a monkey, just kind of messing with rocks. But I think it was because it was just, I wasn't paying enough attention, but it was so cool. It was so cool.
That was the template, in my opinion, for what Savi's lightsabers are for the parks, because literally that's exactly how they work. It was this little tube, and what you would do is it already had a blade in it, and you would slide parts in on it, on this rail system. And so there was a Darth Maul emitter or a Vader one or whatever, and you'd slide all these parts in, and there was a little compartment in the middle that you could pop open, and you had a couple of crystals, and I think it would determine your color. It would read the little chip in it or whatever, and you'd throw that in there, and then you'd close it, and then you'd slide all the pieces in, and then you could make whatever lightsaber you wanted. You could go buck wild. And I remember thinking, sitting there in my bed, putting all the pieces together and trying to make my perfect lightsaber, So, lightsabers. That's my first toy.
So, So now we got to backtrack just a little bit before I go to my next question. Is that I forgot just how many Star Wars toys that I had. And this is why this is one of my favorite ships in Star Wars, is that I had this big prop kind of replica of the Arc 170.
Dude.
The wings were detachable, and they would also come out on the foil, And so it was this big. It was a big ship, and so and I had a big gunship too. And I also had a life-sized E5 droid blaster.
Yeah.
And it would go pew pew, it would light up. Oh my god, yeah! It just brought me back that I had a bunch of that general kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll rattle off a couple of mine as well. I had the Revenge of the Sith volcano. So it came with an Anakin and Obi-Wan, and it was on a volcano. And if you
I remember that. Do
you remember that? That was
we had that too.
Oh, really?
I don't think it lasted long, but I remember Yeah, but like I think I remember at least playing with it, either with like at my house or at a friend.
Yeah, I think mine is still in my garage somewhere. I gotta pull all that stuff out, dude. I gotta make my little.
I gotta go into storage and see what kind of stuff. But okay.
Yeah. Back to you.
Very good. So I will go to my second question.
After an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay. If you could see an official fight between any two characters, who would those characters be? They could be anyone from any era. Think of this as an officially produced what if arena show animated by Lucasfilm.
So it's animation.
Yeah. So think of it like Clone Wars animation. This is official, but it's like a what if kind of arena. So you could pick any two characters to fight.
Do you have an answer for this for yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I had one. I would personally really like to see Darth Vader versus Darth Malgus.
Oh, you're even going with like Legends characters and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, any character. Because this is a what if scenario kind of thing, like an arena match. So Darth Vader versus Darth Malgus, I think, would be really interesting because both of them are extremely like tanky and offensive Sith.
Yeah.
So I just thought, I was like, man, that would be something. Also, Palpatine versus Nihilus, that would be.
Oh man.
Or Revan. Too.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going with my two Legends goats here. I'm going Kyle Katarn versus Starkiller. God. Yeah, and Kyle Katarn, I know we do our little movie battles thing or movie duels a lot. Kyle won't be that OP in it. Like he'll just kind of have his more structured force powers. He'll have his blaster and everything. Obviously, he'll still be pretty powerful. Like this is Jedi Master Kyle Katarn, and then kind of like prime Starkiller. Like I just want to see them go toe to toe, just because I think Starkiller is just so ferocious, with his force powers. He's like an animal kind of thing, where it's like, and he's just so powerful, whereas Kyle, he's that Han Solo Luke combo, where he's got his lightsaber skills, but he's got the blaster and he's trying to dodge around Starkiller. I don't know. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, especially if they're both kind of scaled to the same force structure, because like the Force Unleashed is all unleashed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like everyone in that game is just cracked up to all hell. So imagine if Kyle was put up to that level.
Okay, I have one other honorable mention here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Ram Koda Blind versus Kanan Blind.
I'm sorry, I just thought of like just like they're just like just swinging it. And nothing. Yeah, I mean here. Whoa. Yeah, that could be. Oh man. Actually, I would really love to see like prime Anakin versus either Palpatine or Yoda. Because it's always been said like, oh, he'll become more powerful than either of us, and it's like, well, what if he really got to that level? I want to see it in action.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
Yeah. I don't know, there's so many options you could do. I mean, I'd love to see like I'd love to get Revan in there somehow. I don't know against who. Literally anybody. I would just be hyped.
Revan versus Palpatine would be pretty cool.
That'd be kind of crazy.
Revan versus Starkiller?
That'd be sick. I mean, if it's like especially like Force Unleashed 2 Starkiller versus Revan, with the dual lightsabers, like also that visualization of Starkiller being in an arena because of that one trailer where he fights the Gorog. Like I would like with the pauser and everything, dude.
Revan versus Revan versus Anakin, like prime Anakin.
I mean, and also it would be cool if it was Jedi Revan, right? Like, yeah. Also, Cole Cohen cooking here straight away was thinking of Qui-Gon and Balin.
Oh,
that would be cool, dude. That's a good fight.
I think that would be like just a true warrior kind of fight, dude. It would feel like watching like two samurai fight almost.
Oh my gosh, yeah, man. One day we need to do an episode of I don't. we got to do an episode of talking about our favorite lightsaber duels because I don't think we've done that yet. And
lightsaber duel tier list.
Oh, that'd be good. I think Connor and Seth did that, but ours will be different because we're cooler. I'm just kidding. Love you, Connor and Seth. You guys are also awesome.
No, I mean, just the Mortis FM version.
Yeah, Mortis FM edition. Yeah, I think Kyle versus Starkiller. That's what I'm going for. I think that'd be sick. I love that.
Have you done your 2 questions and now I've done my 2?
Yeah, it's up to you. If you want me to go next or you want to go next again.
Who talks first? I'll do it next again.
Okay.
So gotta think about this one.
Mm-hmm.
A bounty has been placed on you, and all bets are off. Everyone wants a piece. However, Jabba has given you the choice of 3 hunters to protect you, with assurances that they'll be paid so well they won't even think to turn around and take the bounty for themselves. Who do you pick?
So 3 to protect me?
3 hunters to protect you. They will be handsomely paid so that they won't be convinced to just turn you in on a dime.
Okay. Okay. I know 2. Off the rip, I know 2 of them.
I'm pretty sure I've got my answer, but go ahead.
Okay. First, Cad Bane. Easy. It's just not even a question. Second is Max, like true Dirge from
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say Max Rebo.
I was gonna say Max Power Dirge. But
second is Max Rebo.
They'll never guess. No. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be Dirge.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Now this third slot is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Din, I love you, buddy, but I don't think I'm gonna go with you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. However, you are, and this is what I love about you. You are not this perfect, just like bounty hunter. Like you get beat up, Grogu gets captured from you from time to time. Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't choose you. All right, but I love you. This is tough. I'm trying to think of all the bounty hunters. I mean, I think it's got to be Boba, man. Mm-hmm. Like I just don't think you can go with anybody else. Boba! Like, and I'm thinking like prime Boba Fett, you know, like
Jedi Survivor Boba Fett.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like that version of Boba Fett right there. I mean, I think those 3. I think they'd be unstoppable, dude. I don't think anybody's getting close to them. You mean they might get roughed up a little bit, but Dirge would take forever for him to die. Okay.
Dirge is an actual monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literal boogeyman. Come on.
Yeah. Cole, you make a good point here. I was gonna say if we're not counting Dirge, if we're not gonna allow like someone so OP as Dirge, IG-88 would also be I think
IG-88 would be like an honorable mention probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I am sorry that he will be hunting me down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Grayson, my answer was exactly the same as yours.
Let's go.
Cad Bane, Boba Fett, and Dirge. I was like, those 3, like it's not gonna happen. Like no one's getting to me.
Mm-mm.
It's not happening.
It's not happening, dude. They're the best at what they do, bro. I don't know. There's nothing else to it. That's all I got. Cad Bane, like they can just all go up against Jedi. Like, they can literally go up against anybody. So, yeah. My turn.
Your turn.
Okay. Let's see if there's anybody what people are saying in the chat. Starkiller is Hulk with the dark. Yeah, I mean he's cracked.
Pretty much. Starkiller smash.
Let's see. LA Knight versus Kylo. I don't know what that is. You know what LA
Knight.
Chris, expound. He said he's getting his fandoms mixed up. I don't know who LA Knight is.
Let me see. Los Angeles Knight. Oh, it's a wrestler.
Oh, okay. I'm not a wrestling guy. I'm sorry. I wish, but
be a great matchup.
Darth Malgus versus Yoda. That'd be sick, dude. Honestly,
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I think Malgus is really underrated in terms of power level.
Dude, Malgus is awesome. I also would love to see, back to that, I'd love to see like Satil Shan in one of them. I don't know which one. It's like Satil versus Darth Maul or something would go
Satil
crazy.
Shan versus Bastila Shan? I mean...
Oh, the lineage. I do like
my... lineage! Palpatine style.
Okay. This is an easy one. Well, maybe it's not an easy one. I don't know. What is your favorite Star Wars battle and why?
Star Wars battle? Like fully fledged battle?
Yeah, like the Battle of Endor, you know, the Battle of Coruscant, the Siege of Mandalore, like...
I think it's honestly... I think you know the answer. But it's I gotta go with the Battle of Coruscant.
Okay.
Because when you take into consideration just how incredible the first like 20 to 30 minutes of Revenge of the Sith is, and that's just the space battle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think of Gendy's Clone Wars on what's going on down on the ground.
Yeah.
It's literally just pandemonium. That is the climax of the Clone Wars. Utapau was the final battle, really, but the Battle of Coruscant is the climax, right? Because for years it's been a melting pot of conflict between the Separatists and the Republic, and then suddenly all of the Separatists just come out of hyperspace and lay siege to the capital world and kidnap the Chancellor. And it's like an all points bulletin, yo guys, Obi-Wan, Anakin, everyone else, like, come back, need help.
Yeah.
Need help. Grievous took the Chancellor. I had no idea how he stormed in. He took down Jedi and he grabbed him and left. And then Anakin and Obi-Wan get there, and that's, you know, they fight Dooku. Dooku's taken out, and then the ship crashes. Like, it's just, there's so much happening. And then, like, in the meanwhile, like, Fordo's on the ground, like, just fighting all of these super battle droids, and Dooku, or not Dooku, Mace Windu and Yoda are just like tearing things up on the ground. Like, I'm thinking of the scene where Yoda's in the council chamber and he looks out the window and there's all of these starfighters just coming down. Like, it's literally just one of the quickest but also most destructive invasions.
It's so sick.
Yeah, it's the climax of the Clone Wars, and I really wish that we could have seen that in Clone Wars animation. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I was watching recently a video from a YouTuber named Flandrew. He does a lot of really cool like Star Wars video game retrospectives of like going back and talking about old games. And so he managed to get access to like a dev kit copy of Star Wars Battlefront 3, and it would have like opened, like the second mission would have been the Battle of Coruscant. And you would have gone from the space to ground and would have fought with Mace Windu, and it was just so cool. Like, you can see ships flying around, and it was awesome, man.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Dude, like, come on, guys. Come on. Like, it wouldn't be hard to finish. Like, the bones are there, you know? And again, that would be one of those games to be like put under a Legends banner, you know? Star Wars Legends, Battlefront 3. Like,
that just, it could have been... I really need them to get on top of like the games there, because I mean, like prime time 2005 2008 was like perfect time for Star Wars gaming.
Dude,
really.
Like just the 2000s in general, bro.
Yeah.
It was banger after banger after banger, like literally multiple games a year, dude.
I know,
man. Okay, Battle of Coruscant. I am struggling between 3 battles right now.
I do have an honorable mention, I will say.
Okay. I think your honorable mention will likely be one of mine.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So my gut instinct is I really want to say the Battle of Endor. The only thing that holds it back for me, not holds it back, but makes me second guess myself, is the fact that the ground battle is mostly with like Ewoks. But I also kind of love that because we also know like there's rebels fighting more on the planet. We just only see them really fighting in the bunker. Like we see this in Battlefront 2 with this main story and everything.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of like Lando and all the rebels are in space. You know, they're fighting off the Star Destroyers and waiting for the shields to go down. And then Luke is fighting Vader and Palpatine on the Death Star. It's just all these moving pieces. Like, I love when battles do that. You know, there's the heart of the battle, and then there's the big objective, and then there's the people on the ground. So, but then my other two... I mean, dude, the Siege of Mandalore is so freaking good, dude.
It's
like,
really, really good.
And it's so unique because there's no battle droids, man. It's clones versus Mandalorians, and Darth Maul is leading them.
Yeah.
And then my other mention is the Battle of Scarif, dude.
That was what I was gonna say.
That is such a banger.
It's such a desperate battle too,
Mm-hmm.
and like. That is why I just love that final act of Rogue One so much. Like, especially when Jyn is like kind of walking to the tower and just so desperately trying to transmit those plans. Meanwhile, they're like, we got to get that shield open in order to get those plans out. And it's like, it's kind of like shooting the proton torpedo into the reactor shaft. It's like 1 in a million kind of shot there. And as soon as they leave, or as soon as they're going to leave, like Vader's ships come in, like it was so unlikely that was going to happen. Like just that kind of desperation there. But
I mean, the chain events of like when they're on the ground, they sneak into Scarif, right, with the full ship, and then they're looking out the viewport of the main tower, and there's explosions going off, and then of course all the Empire's rushing, and there's all these moving pieces, and then finally the rebellion does come to the aid, and Mon Mothma just kind of has that smirk, you know, of like they've done it. She's just like she's so filled with pride, like they did it, you know, and then of course like. Probably the best space battle we've seen with any of the new movies has been like with those X-Wings and everything. Like it's just so the CG is so good. I mean, the Hammerhead Corvettes.
It's so inspired.
Mm-hmm.
It's so because like the cockpit shots, like it looks straight out of A New Hope, and it's directly inspired. You know, and like what was it, Blue Squadron?
Yeah,
and Blue Leader. Like, dude, those guys. Pour one out for Blue Squadron, you know.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, I think that would probably be my honorable mention. My number one is Battle of Coruscant, but Battle of Scarif. I also really like Battle of Hoth. But
I mean, come on. And Cole Cohen here mentioned here. He said Battle of Geonosis was hard. They lost a ton of Jedi, but Scarif also for me. Yeah, man. I think I got to go with my heart, and I have to go Battle of Endor. Just because I love Return of the Jedi, I just love that battle, and it's just such a that win is such a celebratory moment, you know. Like I don't know. I mean, Lando, you know, destroying the Death Star, and then Han and Leia and Chewie and all the rebels on the ground, but then Luke, you know, finally confronting Vader. I mean, it's just such a in the world between worlds, like that is such a like that's its own portal right there, you know, somehow.
Such a pivotal moment.
Yeah. I Return of the Jedi, I've really just been like thinking fondly of lately. Like I'm glad we got to see it in theaters last year. Just all together. That was fun. But there's so many good battles, man. I think, I don't know. I'm going to go Battle of Endor, but
good choice, man. Good choice.
Yeah. I think it's your turn, right?
My final serious question. You are rebuilding the Jedi Order. How do you go about doing it? What things do you change?
Oh, man.
So, I'll go ahead and answer while you think about it. Essentially, what I would do is that I would take away a lot of the dogma and the really strict structure that the old order had, and I would just kind of encourage an open-mindedness with the Force, not specifically saying like embrace the dark side. That's, you know, obviously no, but don't shy away from your feelings and like those kinds of things. And also, I wouldn't kidnap children. I wouldn't do that.
The Jedi don't kidnap children. I'm sick of this argument.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't you like they actively go and seek out force sensitive kids, you know, in order to bring them back, right? I think it would be it would kind of be more or less like a calling to say, even if you don't think that you're force sensitive, you can still come and like learn if you wish.
Okay.
You know, instead of just kind of making it specific to like, oh, you know, you can do it or you can't, you know.
Yeah, right.
Because like as we've seen, especially recently, like everyone kind of has the potential. It's just some are a lot more apt than others, and if you're not, you have to put in that discipline. And if you want to, I'm not going to keep you from doing that. You know?
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of more or less like a temple for learning, as opposed to this is an order where we will orchestrate our will upon the galaxy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you're specifically talking about the issues with the prequel era Jedi, I agree. I honestly would say I'm Luke Skywalker, right? I've defeated the Emperor and everything, and it's my next move. I am, as far as I know, I am the only Jedi left in the galaxy. Yeah, you know. Of course, I would, if they would speak with me, I would naturally consult Yoda and Obi-Wan and all of them, like just in terms of how I should go about finding more people, because it's like I can't, like, finding force sensitive children or just people in general by myself was a monumental task. And so of course I would probably ask the Republic to just like kind of, I don't know. I mean,
put up a couple posters.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, immediately, but I'm like, I don't want families to have to give up their children if they don't, like, you know, I want it to be a thing of like, if they think that their child has a special gift, like speak to your nearest like Republic if you want to, right? Like if that is something that like, and it's up to the parents, or even, and I also don't want to put like an age limit, you know, like on, like, I don't want it to be like, only like kids that are like 2 years old or younger can join, you know, because obviously that was a big problem. And then honestly, I would really evaluate, I know it's the ancient Jedi text, but I would really evaluate the history of the Jedi, and especially the High Republic era of Jedi. I mean, that is a era I am just, as a Jedi slut that I am, because I just love Jedi. What they did as Jedi, in my opinion, the High Republic, they worked. They worked in tandem with the Republic, but they were not controlled by the Republic, nor did they. Their light influenced all parts of the galaxy. And so I think just reestablishing them as peacekeepers, and I completely agree, being more in tune with your feelings, like you think about actual therapy, right? Of like, you know, a lot of Jedi, I think that what got lost in translation was the Jedi were like, no, you can't, you're not allowed to feel at all, right? Like it's just strict logic, you know? And it's like, no, like that's not what it means to be a Jedi. It's like, you're supposed to be cognizant of your emotions and feel them, but don't let them overtake you, you know? Balance
you need to be able
yourself.
to process that stuff as opposed to just getting over it, you know?
And like creating an initiative where, you know, say someone is going through a rough time emotionally, of like, well, like, let's help, like, again, like Jedi therapy, like, let's have assuming we can get more people, have a group of people like on these temples that are just there to be able to kind of help speak with these Jedi and help them get back to where they need to be to center themselves, not only just in the Force, but with their own emotions.
I mean, having such an intrinsic connection to like the wellspring of the universe is going to have kind of an effect on your mental. You know? It's like you Jedi will feel things, negative things, a lot more intensely than otherwise, and so they are impacted extremely. So like having someone to be able to talk to, as opposed to going like, you must train yourself to let go, you know, kind of thing. And like letting go of things that you hold on to is still a good ideal, but if you don't process that sort of stuff, when it's like become a real problem, something that's truly bothering you, then it's not going to do you any good.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it really is just like, shoving all of your dirty laundry under the bed, you know, just like
Literally.
that's yeah.
I mean, it's almost it's kind of analogous to how the actual placement of the Jedi Temple is that it is
Mhm.
placed on top of the Sith Temple, right?
Mhm.
And so instead of it going away, it's just covering it up. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
you need to process that and also accept that is a part of yourself and see what you can do with that. Like try to work through that as opposed to denying it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I also believe with that, like, I've always loved this in Legends. A lot of people don't, but I do. Of at least creating ways where we're using Anakin as kind of the example of like what went wrong sort of thing. And it's like he was so afraid of being rejected by the Jedi that like he didn't feel like he could express like, oh, I am in love with someone, I'm married to someone, you know. And so he's like, well, he was kind of like both sides of the line or whatever. And it's like trying to find a way to encourage, like, you know, you can still be a positive part of the galaxy or you know, stay adhered to Jedi principles of peace and everything, while also being able, I mean, it's like what Anakin says. Yeah, I know some people might think it's a cringy line, but of like he's like, you know, in some ways we should be encouraged to love, you know, when they're talking about like emotions and empathy and everything. And it's like, yeah, like that's what the Jedi should be, you know, it's loving your neighbor and protecting them. And even in the High Republic era, like they don't kill unless they absolutely have to, because obviously, like, there's a line that's so beautifully done. I can't remember exactly where it is. There's a character, his name is Porter Engle, one of my favorite characters in the High Republic, amazing Jedi. And it gets to a point where he's like talking and he's like, the Nihil have like taken out these innocent creatures and kidnapped these people. And it gets to a point where he's like, they have forced my hand. Like we've given them these opportunities to put down their weapons and lay things aside. And ultimately it's like, well, then you've got to put them down, right? They're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but they try to avoid that as much as they can, right? Like they don't want to have to do that. And there's even another beautiful story in the High Republic where a Jedi and his Padawan, two of my favorite characters as well, they go to this town that has been so jaded by war and destruction and famine, and these people in this town for like months are trying to kill them, and they're just deflecting these shots, but they're not harming them in return. And eventually the walls break down, and these people are like start to accept them as part of their community. They're fixing fences and holes in walls and cleaning up debris and, you know, guarding people to go get food. And and it's like that's the short story is called All Jedi Walk Their Own Path. I did a small review on Instagram of it. It's beautiful. That's what a Jedi is. That's what I love in a Jedi. So trying to get back to that. Now, in terms of finding people to actually join the Jedi Order, dude, that's hard, bro. Like,
spread the good word, you know?
Yeah, Leia, help me out. Like, I don't know, do me a solid, because I'm struck. Like, that's why when I think about like how hard it was for Luke to find other Jedi is in the canon is like, obviously I'm a big Jedi, like, you know, Luke starting up the Jedi Praxeum on Yavin and things in Legends. And that's always kind of been hard for me because I'm like, man, I really wanted to see Luke thrive. But also when I put myself in Luke's shoes, I'm like, man, how do you find all these people, you know? Like, it's hard. Like, that takes a long time.
It's a big galaxy. The Jedi Order has been, you know, pretty much extinct for decades. I mean, without that kind of know-how, like, you got to get the word around. And I mean, are people even going to believe you? You know?
Because they're also, people don't think of the Jedi positively that way. I mean, they've been dead for so long. Like, they're like, why would any of us want to try to join you? You know, you're just this one guy. Like, is this even real? So, let me go through because Metroplex has been given some good comments. I'd implement the dark side in a similar way to the dark arts in Harry Potter, I think. Ooh, Yeah, of like learning how it operates.
Defense against the dark side class.
Yeah. Of like it's literally like knowing thy enemy, right?
I think it would be, I think it would be very beneficial for the students to become very much aware of what it is and what it does.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of like locking all of that behind a Jedi paywall or something like that, where like you have to be a council member in order to look into that sort of stuff. Because that's the thing, like they didn't trust their students. Like that's pretty much what it is. It's like, but if you do that, you're gonna be evil. So
yeah, we don't trust you. This, I don't know what this is. I would give lessons on dialectical materialism.
Let's find out.
Chat, Cole.
Dialectical materialism is a materialist theory based upon the writings of Karl Marx. Jacob, are you here? That has found, that has found widespread applications in a variety of philosophical disciplines, ranging from philosophy of history to philosophy of science.
Interesting.
How about let's look it up for simple terms? An approach for explaining the transition from capitalism to socialism.
Metroplex Asylum, Jacob is our friend. You guys would get along so well. Like if you're not friends
I like
already.
This guy Metroplex. I like this dude. He's got big noggin over here.
Big noggin.
And he says full internet access once you reach the age of a Jedi Knight. Yeah, you get full access to the HoloNet once you're a Jedi Knight. Up to you, man.
And then to recruit people, you give them tax break. Yeah, I mean, true. What is Jedi healthcare like, dude? I don't know.
Someone honestly, walks into the temple and they're like, Master Luke, like, I'm looking to join. And Luke's like, okay, great. Tax breaks, healthcare. Like, he just starts listing those things off.
What is it? Vacation pay, like all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Imagine getting taxed while you're being a monk in a temple in Octo. Like,
I don't even make money.
Yeah, I don't. What is this? What do you do for me? You're just charging me. Yeah, I think I have those two gag questions. I think I'm gonna do it into one because I'm just gonna do one as opposed to my two. Because I'm losing my consciousness here.
Yeah. Do I have one last serious question?
I think you do.
Okay. Let's go simple. Would you rather be a Mandalorian or a Jedi? It's tough. I thought about this myself.
Yeah. I think I would rather be a Jedi, probably, because being a Mandalorian, technically with both a Jedi and a Mandalorian, like there's a lot of things that come with that. But I think being a Mandalorian is like knowing that I'm going to be raised in this specifically like warmongering kind of way. And that could bring up all sorts of pros, but also all sorts of cons for me in the future.
Yeah.
And I think I would rather be a Jedi because that would at the very least be a much easier open door towards active spirituality and this kind of open-mindedness and mindfulness, and also the Force, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe, and it kind of goes in tandem with what we just talked about, like especially who's like, nothing is saying in this question that we can, and if we were to have problems with being a Jedi, we could leave, of course, but I think it's kind of a matter of which nurture you want to go with, and one is a nurture of war and weapons, and but yes, honor and loyalty. But that's the thing. If that's the pros, but there's also the cons. Whereas at least being a Jedi, you are being nurtured in a temple where peace and philosophy and justice is being encouraged, and you have a community of people around you. Like, yeah, we see a lot of the Jedi in the prequel era, but that doesn't mean that was all the Jedi. Like, again, I'm referencing a lot of the High Republic era, but a lot of the even think of the friends and people you can make even just as a youngling or as a knight. But
also the experiences that you could have in the galaxy, right? of just, especially in High Republic, of going out and helping people, being like a force for good in the galaxy, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, probably Jedi. I think Mando would be super cool, but Jedi, I would say.
Yeah, because especially like Mandalorian, we see like, especially if you're like I would not want to be a child of the Watch, dude. Like, brainwashing at its finest, bro. Like,
and like not very fulfilling. I mean, like, I guess you would have like a loyal family, I suppose, but
Chris said Sith. I guess more power to you, literally. I disagree, but and then as long as we don't have an Andrew Tate like Jedi like Mace Windu, man, that's kind of disrespect. I mean, I'm not a big Mace Windu fan, but that's maybe too much of a compliment to Andrew Tate right there. I don't know.
Yeah. I would hang out with Mace over Andrew Tate any day, man. But like, imagine Andrew Tate as a Jedi. It's like, Anakin's just like, how can you be on the council and not be master? And he's just like, take a seat, idiot. That would be.
You are not a master.
You're not a master. You have like you're not an alpha like me.
Anakin's like, I am a Sigma. I get Padme, and I get Ayla Secura. You don't even know how many women I get. He's so stupid.
Oh my god! What a
Andrew Tate! I'd punch him so fast being a Jedi, dude.
What an embarrassment of a human being. All right,
hit me with your gag question, buddy.
Here's my gag question. Keep in mind, I was very tired when I wrote this, but I thought it was super funny at the time. One of these things has to happen. Choose one. One, Yoda is changed via digital alteration to be taller than everyone else in canon.
Okay.
Or two, Palpatine is the same as he always has been, including being portrayed by Ian McDiarmid. But the character is a small human baby. Every scene and dialogue goes exactly the same in both scenarios. So like, think super tall Yoda being like carried around by Luke, or Vader throwing a small infant Palpatine down a reactor shaft. So you have to pick one of these.
Does Palpatine still talk the same, but he's just a baby?
Yeah, and Ian McDiarmid voices him. He's just a baby.
Honestly, dude, I gotta go with the baby Palpatine. That's hilarious, dude. That's terrifying, bro.
Imagining baby Palpatine saying, leave us, like just to the people during the opera scene. Use my knowledge, I beg you.
He's just like in a little baby carrier. He's like literally in that thing that Grogu is in all the time. Yeah. But he's just with a dark hood, you know?
Or he's just like, he is a very small baby that's just walking around on his legs. And he fights Mace Windu, and he does
Dude, the fight between Yoda and Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith would be so funny, because it would just be like two little guys.
Okay, but then if we did both scenarios, it'd be super
cool. Yoda just
versus a baby Palpatine, dude. Oh my god!
Imagine, JT literally just said what you said. Imagine baby Palpatine doing his death screams, where it's literally just he's like a potato cannon, just like.
but he still has the same size lightsaber, so it's still like a regular human-sized sword as a small baby. Oh my god!
That makes me think of in Sky High, when there's the gun that turns everybody into babies. Like, that's just what happened to Palpatine, and it just never got reversed. And so, like, Plagueis hit him with a baby ray, and just like, that's just what happened from the rest of time.
Your faith in your friends is yours.
Luke is literally just like, looking down.
He just kicks him.
Yeah, Vader would just go, just dump it like. Man, baby Palpatine, bro. Okay, mine is, I think, a little bit more. Mine's not as silly as yours, I don't think, but it is kind of funny. Grogu has Mando. Omega has Hunter and the Bad Batch. Who do you want as your Star Wars dad?
Oh man. I'm just imagining. I'm imagining, like, what if there's this scenario where Grievous has to take care of me? Like he can't, like he can't abandon me. He can't hurt me. Like in this situation, like maybe he even begins to go like, all right, like I like this kid, but like just Grievous being the begrudging father would be so funny to me.
I just think of like the poster of like the Mandalorian where it's like him and then the little baby carrier thing, but it's just Grievous and just you just holding your hand, you know?
One of the reasons why Grievous escapes all the time is because he actually has a baby strapped to his chest, so he's trying to make sure the baby doesn't get hurt.
Shush, baby, shush. Oh my gosh.
Being a dad is just so...
Did he have, but in one of his backstories, did he have children at all? Or just a wife?
Yes, in Legends, yeah, he did. He had multiple wives and multiple children.
Oh, all right. Player Grievous, bro.
Well, he was like a warlord, you know.
Oh, true.
But like serious answer, I think Obi-Wan probably.
Yeah.
I think that would just be really, really neat. Especially like seeing Kenobi, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just kind of, I think I would really like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice. Yeah, Obi-Wan is honestly one of my top picks, but I want to choose somebody different. And I'm not going to choose the Bad Batch or Din because those already are taken.
Chris said Chewie, a good choice.
Being raised by Chewie would not be a bad idea. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Bosk,
Yep.
so I could also be a supporter of genocide. What? That was one of the things that when we were playing, or we were setting up our Edge of the Empire campaign, one of the guys was like, I'm playing a Trandoshan, and they're like, and I'm like, yeah, they just love Wookiee genocide, by the way. Oh, I mean, I didn't even mention Qui-Gon. Yeah, JT said Qui-Gon because Obi-Wan couldn't be the good father figure, Maury.
Qui-Gon would be a great choice.
Yeah, he would. I'll go Qui-Gon. I love Qui-Gon. I mean, I think he would have been. I mean, that's kind of the prevailing theory is that if he had lived, he would have been a great figure for Anakin.
I think he would have been what Anakin needed. So
he's still a little bit of a maverick, but still he's a good guy. And even a little bit in the Living Force that I've read, him and Obi-Wan's dynamic is in the beginning is really good. But before we wrap this bad boy up, chat pack. All right, feller?
Gotta get one out there.
Gotta get one. We're doing 99. Task Force 99. We should have done this for Bad Batch at one of the days, so that's okay.
Should have. What are you gonna do?
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like we have talked about this so extensively, so this is perfect. If you could live on any Star Wars planet, where would you want to take up residence? I know your answer. I feel like I know it.
I used to think like Bespin, Cloud City, you know. I used to. And it's still one of my favorite planets. But the thing is that like recently I've been a lot more inclined to be kind of spiritually and nature-wise kind of connected, and obviously Bespin is a gas giant, so you're not going to find any vegetation unless you know some person you're talking to has got like a desk plant, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sure there's maybe gardens and stuff, but it's still kind of artificial.
So like for me, I would either go Naboo,
classic,
or Alderaan.
Alderaan is beautiful, dude.
I think Alderaan probably. Definitely way before A New Hope for reasons that I won't disclose.
After A New Hope.
Like the Old Republic Alderaan is just a beautiful place.
So good.
And but also, dude, Naboo, I mean, I would love to live
Naboo
there.
is gorgeous.
It's just a paradise. So yeah, I think like one of those two.
And the good thing is they both mix like there's populated cities, but also nature is intertwined. Like Alderaan, you have beautiful mountains and snowy peaks and forests, whereas Naboo, you have plains and rivers and also more forest and really cool architecture.
Absolutely massive waterfalls, like and cliff sides, and I mean they're both just very beautiful planets. So
yeah,
and weirdly enough, Star Wars fun fact, it's I don't know, like physics behind its planet core is very strange. There is no like molten core. You can go through it just like they do in Phantom Menace.
Right.
So theoretically, if you wanted to go down there in a what is it, like blipper or whatever it is?
You talking about the ship that they have?
Yeah,
it's a bongo.
No, it's like, oh, hey blibber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could go down there. So I think I'm gonna go Naboo just because Alderaan, so.
Yeah, and Naboo is also such a centric place for like art, and it's literally like a living Renaissance in a way. So
it is, and I love that kind of architecture. I really love when art is so intentional in how people live.
Yeah,
because it's just it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree. Naboo is a good choice for me, and this actually, weirdly enough, I had an extra question which kind of tied to this, but I'll save it for anyways. But my answer has to be Dantooine from KOTOR, dude.
Yeah, you've loved Dantooine since day one.
It's so pretty, dude. I mean, the architecture, like it's simultaneously rural and like populated. Like, dude, I mean, I still believe that the Jedi Temple, like there's still Jedi temples there, especially after the High Republic, because they've acknowledged there are outposts and temples on different planets. Yeah. So
it's like the Star Wars version of a rich countryside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where like you can just what is it called? It's like like an away trip or something like that. A getaway, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I also, my other pick would be Lothal. I'm a big Lothal fan, and it's because it's also similar to Dantooine in a way. I mean, beautiful plains. There's different varying regions of temperature and things like that. And I love the main city of Lothal. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. Might be just called Lothal City.
Lothal Town.
Yeah, Lothie Town. But that's my picks. Let me check out the chat.
It's just called Capital City.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna use the bathroom real fast.
Okay, I mean I'm ending it right now. Okay. Yeah, I was like, we don't have anything else to do, so I was gonna end it real quick.
Oh yeah, no.
Let me. But yeah. Or Tashi said Temples on Yavin 4 Cloud City. Great choice. Scarif, if you love beaches, definitely go to Scarif. And then Trade Deal, you get to live on Alderaan, but your roommate is Sheev.
It would really depend if he's like. I mean, I don't know what he would say. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I have to use the bathroom so bad right now.
I can tell. Cole gets restless.
I don't. You can do a count. You can rewatch the stream of just how many drinks I've had since we started.
Yeah.
Gotta keep up the water flow because I don't retain fluids very well.
Yeah.
So, everybody, thanks for listening to our questions. If you are listening afterwards, please, as we said at the beginning, answer them. And down in the comments below, just send them our way. And if you have any other questions, maybe in a future episode, we could just do like specifically audience questions.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Everybody, may the force be with you.
Always?
Always.
Oh.